is an adaptation from a novel from Harry James. When you decided to choose this book?
In fact, it came from the first desire of the film that was to make a melodrama, and that drove me to that book, which is on my desk for decades, because for me it's one of the most heartbreaking book, beautiful, sad, but heartbreaking, and it's like a heart of melodrama. But after, maybe everyone has its own definition of a melodrama, but for me it's when everyone knows that two people are made to love each other, everyone except them, and when they realize it's too late. So that's really what's in the novel and what's in the film. But the novel is just like an argument, and I really exploded it. Because in the argument of the novel, there is really these two feelings, strong feelings, that are fear and love. And I wanted to extend them a little more, and especially fear. So that's why I added the part in Los Angeles, which is like a kind of slasher, if I want to be quick, and the future part because of all these talking about the fears. Yes.
If you have questions, do not hesitate.
If you do not, it's because you understood everything.
There is the figure of the doll that is coming back often in the three parts, in every part. So if you could tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, dolls is it's an object that I use in many films. Maybe I should stop a little. But they really fascinate me. It's something that is related to childhood, that is supposed to be cute, but if you really look at a doll, it's very terrifying. And because you don't know what's behind her face, what the doll is thinking. And actually one of my favorite shots of the film is when Léa Seydoux does the doll in the cafe in 1910, because at one moment, she's like normal, and then you have her face, but what's behind it, you do not know. So it's something that I really enjoy filming and using in the films. And I wanted like a few things to be in the three periods. The dolls, the pigeons, the clairvoyance, so it makes like, it links between the three periods. So there is a kind of history of the dolls in a way, starting from these 19th century dolls and going to the future dolls with the Kali doll.
There is a question over there and a question over there.
Hi. Thank you. I really, really enjoyed the movie. I wanted to ask if you could give an answer to it, who the beast is in the end. That's probably like, I haven't read the book, and I saw him to be the beast at one point. I saw AI to be the beast. I saw many things, but I was wondering how you would answer that.
I mean, I can give you my answer, but maybe everyone has his own answer. And that's something I like. The beast could be many things, but for me, the beast is really the fear of love. In fact, the fear of abandoning yourself, risking to be hurt, and that's the beast.
Yes, thank you for the picture. That was lots of fun. Or fun, I don't know. But I was wondering if you had seen the adaptation of La Bête dans le Jungle, the Austrian-French co-production earlier this year, and if that had any influence on how you wanted to approach the project and the picture and the story.
Yes, I have. I saw it. My film was finished, but I saw it like a few months ago. in fact, Patrick and me, we know each other, and I don't know who learned that we were both writing about this novel, but we had a call, then we went for coffee like maybe 3 years ago, and he told me what he was going to do. I told him what I was going to do, and so for us there was no problem at all. The film was, I don't know if you've seen it, they are so different, so they can coexist without any problems. The only thing he asked me to if he could keep the title, Beast in the Jungle, so we just do not have the same title, but the only common point, in a way, it's like there are a lot of club scenes in both films, but they can really coexist.
Thank you very much for this movie. I saw very often your movie Le Pornographe, and one thing I recognized you have in both movies, in this one and in the movie 20 years ago, this certain explicitity. So there is the real porn scenes in Le Pornographe, and we have this very brutal and very disturbing short scenes from this, I don't know, darknet porn with newborn children or something like that. Can you say something about the power, the expression of explicitity, maybe?
It's a good question. I mean, it's when you make a film, you really ask yourself what you have to show and what you have to not hide, but that the spectator should guess, and it's like in a way the basis of my work. And if you have to show something, how far do you have to go? What distance? If you have to be very close, far, So it's not one explanation. It's just point by point. For example, in the Pornographer, well, I haven't seen the film since, but I knew that as I'm talking about someone whose job is doing porn films, it would be ridiculous not to show what he's seeing and what's very natural for him. So I tried to be explicit and to make this expleticism very natural. But it was logical for me because of the character. And this film, for example, I mean, it's a huge love story, even if it's a failure. But there is nothing sexual. So, for example, when they take hands in 1910, I really ask the actors to place this as a sex scene, even if it's just hands. And it's another way of being explicit in a way. So, but I think it's case by case. In every film, every scene, you're asking if you have to show the thing or put it behind the camera.
Hello.
What
Hi.
I mean by that, it's not something theoretical.
Hi. My question is about the decision to put a QR code at the end. This is the second time I see the film, and I know there's mid-credit scene, which I only got to see obviously later. So I think my question is the decision to put a QR code and the act you're expecting from viewers to kind of look at their phone after the film, like use their screen. I imagined if everyone would get their phone out like in a concert to take a QR code, and I looked back and not many people had their phone up. So yeah, I was curious to know that decision you made to do that.
It was a huge and very long discussions because I know it's never been made before, so there are many reasons. One of them is I think it goes aesthetically with the film. It ends up in 2044, which is something without any emotions. And credits is something, usually people just go down from the film and you have like a particular music and it gives you another emotion. And then the film ends with George McKay being like a robot Leah being totally human, and if you have a QR code just behind, she's like, like she's even more lonely in a way, and there is something quite cold in a way. Another reason is that today credits are around like between 6 and 8 minutes, and no one sees them. They watch like the first 3 or 4 names, then they leave, and sometimes it's difficult because you want to see who did the music and you cannot because someone is standing up, and it's for me a way, yes, that the audience can go back home with the credit and watch it or not, but they have their own tempo for that. Basically, it's the 2 reasons, but some screenings I attend to, yes, it ends up at the end, everyone is with the phone, but why not?
So now we go back to the corner.
Thank you first for this wonderful film. And I have got a question to the particular scene you just mentioned before with Gabrielle imagining the face of a doll. It was really touching, and it came back later again. And I was wondering how it is possible. Can you tell us a little bit how, when you shot this scene, what did you tell? How often? How many cuts did it take? Just imagine it's so incredibly difficult to do this.
Well, the fact is, it was the first shot of the shooting. We started the shoot by this shot, and for me, I don't give many explanations to the actors. I just try to point them the heart of the scene. And I told her the heart of the scene is when you do the doll. And she just asked me, what shall I do? And I say, nothing as long as you can. Just try not to cling your eyes or stuff like that. And that's it. We took the first take, in fact. We did 2 takes, and the second one was not as good, so it was very simple.
Hello. Thank you very much for the movie. I thought it was fantastic. And my question is, as you just explained that you wanted to explore like fear and love and the relationship between those 2 themes in the movie in different ways. And I felt that very, very strongly, but I also felt that the whole combination of different motifs and stuff like that, it just came together and it produced like a very like existential feeling in me that I cannot really put in words. And my question is, how would you say, what is your approach to do a movie and to like evoke such very existential feelings that are like very subconscious, if you know what I mean?
I understand the question. I'm not sure I have the answer. No, because it's not something so... there are a lot of unconsciousness in the way you make films, and my way of working is not very intellectual. It's very sensitive. So I know the emotions I am searching for, I'm hoping for, while I'm writing, into the scenes, into the editing, because in fact the film you've seen is very, very close from the script. And it's not always something very that you can express with words, that's why I write alone, because it's difficult to share. It's something that it's looking more for sensation. Some things can look very useless, and they are, but it's sometimes the things that touches me the most. Why I couldn't say, That's why I really understand the question, but I'm not escaping the answer. It's very difficult to have a clear answer. But what I can say is, I really, as a spectator, when I go into a theater, I really love the films that, when you sit for like 10 minutes, you know where you are, there is a story that is told, and little by little, you're in a kind of travel, and that takes you into an unknown place of your emotions, you know. And I think it's what I'm trying to reproduce as a director.
Well, thank you for your film. I liked it very much. Fantastic story. My question is either your point of opinion. Is this a story of time traveling by AI part? That means you started from the 2044 back, and the story started with this time traveling? Or is it your universal approach of feeling like Orlando, that you jumped over the time decades and have saw this movie and this story like? And the second part of question is, why this lady on the phone killed the cat?
Okay, I start by the second. I just wanted to show with one quick shot what it is that when you get without emotion, because she's done the experience and stuff like that. The cat is ill, she's just killing it, and she loves it, but just very simply. It was a way to show it, because otherwise it's always told. About AI, well, I was saying in the introduction that I was really working on scary thing, and it's something that is very scary, you know. When I started to work on the script a few years ago, I worked with a scientist about AI and stuff, and so I was aware of many things technologically, and I really realized that the main problems today are ethical, moral, political, and but I couldn't imagine that in 2023, the year the film is shown, AI would be such a subject, a world subject like it was this year. And yes, everybody is a little scared of that tool that is getting stronger than the people using the tool, you know. And when I presented the film in Venice and Toronto, and still now, in fact, you know, there is a huge strike in Hollywood with screenwriters and actors, and use of AI in art is part of the heart of the negotiation. So even if it touches art, of course there is something very scary. And even if in the film it says that now AI took the power, there's no more problems and no more catastrophe, it is a possibility. But the catastrophe is that there is no more catastrophe because you don't have any more human feeling.
Question? More?
Why did you start and end with the CGI studio? Because if there is a relation, if you found a relation between that and the novel, because I believe she says in the beginning, I can't pretend, I'm afraid. And we, as viewers, we spend the whole film, is fantastic that we spend the whole film without believing her as a character. The actress, yes, she's all the time there. Leia is all the time, she's amazing what she does, but the character, maybe we have to wait for the final shot. We can talk, because everybody saw the film, we can talk about that. But my question was if there is a relation somehow between the novel and the CGI studio. And also, second one, I believe you used a bit of Trash Hampers by Harmony Korine in the film, and I'm very curious to know why.
Well, in fact, more than the CGI studio with the commercial shoot, it's the prologue, like the first scene, which is also on green screen, was very important to me because for the audience, when you see a green screen, they know that there is something virtual, something that is not real, that is going to be added on that. And I wanted to introduce the film with this idea. There will be a lot of virtuality into the film, but it's not in relation with the novel, more in the way I was thinking the whole film with the three periods. And about Trash Hampers, yes, it's true. I mean, I really like this film and I really like Harmony Korine's work, but it's not the reason why I took it, because it's pop-ups and they're so quick, you know. So you have, I needed to find something, some footage that very quickly give you an atmosphere like insane. And Harmonicorine for that is the best. In few frames, he creates some images that really stays in your mind and that really insane with something just weird, but is so good at that.
Thank you again. And I just probably understood 10%, but I stumbled over the image of the pigeon because, like, the pigeon stands for the Holy Spirit and hope, and in the movie, like, it stands for the fear of the beast. I'm not quite sure, but I just wanted to ask you, can you maybe explain the symbol of the pigeon, and or is it like that we have to see the fear that brings us hope or something like this? Because I didn't quite understand it.
Well, to be very honest, I hate pigeons. I really hate them. For me, I am really sure that they are a reincarnation of the devil. I'm sure of myself. The reincarnation of the devil. So I wanted to put some pigeon in the film because I really hate them. But I had to give an explanation, and I searched explanations. And what is on the film is I found it. That it's a symbol of the Holy Spirit. But if it gets into your house, someone is going to die. This is written. I had pigeon in my house. I had death around me. I tell you, I hate them. But there is not more to understand. It's just the feeling that it can make on the audience. Probably works on some people, does not on some others.
If we have time, I have one question, and it's about the last part, because it's unusual to be in the future for your films, and it's also the most anguishing part. So how did you work with science fiction, with this new genre?
For me, it was the more questioning part, because doing 1910, you're reproducing stuff. 2014, you have images and stuff like that. How do you make science fiction? I'm not a great... I don't have a great culture of science fiction movies or literature. But what I can feel is basically, usually you have two directions. One which is the hyper-technological direction, and one which is like a post-apocalyptic direction. I was searching for a third one. And the future I chose, it's 2044, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, visually, a lot of things will be the same. I was in this theater 22 years ago. It was exactly the same, and probably, and I hope, it's going to be the same in 20 years. So it doesn't come like that. So I took the world as it is, and I took away stuff. So I took away the cars, I took away internet, screens, images, commercials, and social networks, and all that, and tried to work by the emptiness. And that the fact that the differences between today and in 20 years is more differences of behavior, much more than visual stuff. Then I changed the format of the film. The film is all in 1:85, except the future, which is in 4/3, because I wanted to focus on the actors, the actress, and don't let her have air, just be a little more, tough, And basically, we worked a lot on the sound. Everything is fake. That's how we did it.
Thank you. I have still one question, last one, then we go. I promise. She fails to be purified with this very little chance. It's like if the fear and the anguish she had in a certain way will save her from the apathy of the characters. And I wanted to know if you could say how you were written.
Well, for me, it doesn't work on her because her desire of love is stronger than everything, but she does not know that at the end. that's why what you said is very right. I mean, the character is like very floating the whole film, you know, because she's, for many reasons, different reasons according to the periods, but just at what moment and very late, she's sure of something, you know, but it is too late. And when the doll says, "But are you sad that it doesn't work on you?" and she said, "No, at the contrary." But before that, she didn't realize.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you again,
Thank you
Bertrand.
very much. Thanks a lot.